Welcome into a Monday edition of Hittin Hard with Jon Chuckery. Today on the show, let's overreact to the Falcons preseason victory on Friday night. Mike Rothstein is going to join me. He is the Falcons beat reporter for ESPN.com. And we got a huge one coming tonight. It's all next. Hittin Hard with Jon Chuckery, Locked on Sports Atlanta.
This is Hittin Hard with Jon Chuckery, part of Locked on Sports Atlanta. And it starts now.
Welcome in on this Monday edition of Hittin Hard with Jon Chuckery here on Locked on Sports Atlanta. Head to youtube.com, put Locked on Sports Atlanta into your search browser. 3,000 subscribers. Man, we thank you greatly. In just a few months' time, we've hit 3,000 subscribers. We thank you greatly for that. We know that number is going to grow exponentially as we're in football season here. So put Locked on Sports Atlanta in your search browser. Hit that subscribe button. Leave us a comment. Of course, we are free and available on all of your favorite podcast platforms, including Spotify and Odyssey. Leave us a 5-star review and give me a follow on my personal Twitter page at JMCH316. Let's overreact, right? Falcons win a preseason game. We don't see many of these, right? It's been a disaster the last few years in preseason for the Atlanta Falcons, but they found a way to win 27-23 on the road against the Detroit Lions. Look, are the Falcons going to go 23-0 now? They're going to win their other preseason games, win all the regular season games, win all the playoff games, right? 23-0 would be the bar, right? How close to 23 wins can the Falcons get? I kid and all that stuff. But look, there were some good things to take out of all of it, right? We talked about some of the things on Friday that we were looking for. I wanted the offense to rush for 100 yards in that game. Okay, well, the Falcons did that, right? They ran for 168 yards in the game. Now, a lot of that, half of that was from your quarterbacks, okay? So obviously a different dimension element. But you got, almost 100 yards, got in, the high 80s from just your running backs. And more importantly, in totality, your running backs were over 4 yards a carry. You were 5.8 yards per carry. That was something else that we were looking at, right? I wanted a turnover. They caused 2 turnovers, one that led to the game-winning drive. I thought, can we get a sack? They got a sack. I thought there was a lot of good things to build on in this game. Are there things that they have to work on? Yeah, there are things that they have to work on, right? That's why I'm picking them to be a 6-win team. There are things that they have to fix and get right. Now, there were some frustrations, okay? At times, Jalen Mayfield is a very frustrating player, right? And, we'll talk to Mike Rothstein coming up here and we'll get his thoughts about it. But frustrating. There's that meme out there of him laying down on his belly, on one of those plays. Drake London going out, right? Being injured. Okay. He dealt with some of this at Southern Cal, right? Remember, he missed, the end of last season because of injury. And, we were told he's good to go in this and the other, which he probably is. But I'm probably done with playing Drake London at this point until they line up against the Saints on September 11th, right? I mean, with all due respect, I don't need anything more out of London. I don't need him to get hurt or anything like that. So there were some frustrating things. The center position is still, this, that, and the other. Did the Falcons kind of consistently get a pass rush going? Ebiketie had some nice moments. I thought they did some good things. But still, they allowed the Lions, especially on that opening drive, right, which was kind of head-scratching that, opening drive, Detroit marches right downfield and scores a touchdown. It was another thing. I wanted to hold them to 1 touchdown. All right, well, they put up a few touchdowns in that game. But, look, here's the reality, okay? This is going to be a challenging football team. And I like the fact that they were in a let's go for it, let's win kind of mode. Now, we'll talk more about this in just a second, but first, let me talk about my folks over at betonline.net, your number one source for all of your betting needs and sports information. BetOnline.net is super easy to use. You got boxing, you got NFL now, we got college football coming up, and oh yeah, we are dead square in the middle of August pennant races, right? All kinds of stuff that you can go to right now to betonline.net. Get all of your sports wagering information, live betting, esports scores, everything there is right there in the palm of your hand. Head to the website today. Use that mobile device. Learn more about the trends and the action on betonline.net. It is where the game starts. But look, we know it's going to be probably a tough year for the Atlanta Falcons. I thought the quarterbacks played well enough, right? But listen, if their offensive scheme is going to be quarterback run and go run for your life, neither of those guys is going to last through 4 weeks of the season. So there are things that they have to tighten up. But I thought one of the things that you saw about this team and the offense, they ran it a total of 29 times in the game, and they had a total of 24 passes in the game. That shift, right, of offensive philosophy, and I think we'll see more of this as we move through the preseason. I've always said, until Matt and those guys leave, when Matt Ryan leaves, then we could talk about offensive philosophy. Because as long as Matt Ryan's here, you're a pass-heavy, pass-first offense. You don't have a guy that's thrown for 57,000 yards in the league, turn and hand it off to people. New time, new era, that commitment to the run. Early on in that game, in that first drive, 10 of the 12 plays in that first quarter were running plays. That commitment to the run. They may not run it well at times, okay? They're going to have their ups and downs. I don't think anybody really separated themselves at running back. Obviously, there's still some questions about the middle of their offensive line, right? But if they'll stay committed. Bill Parcells always talked about the number one thing he looked on the stat sheet at the end of the game was how many rushing attempts did we have. He didn't look at yards. He didn't look at yards per carry. Didn't look at touchdowns. Didn't look at passing yards. He didn't look at all that stuff. The first thing he talked about is I always look to see how many rushing attempts did we have in a game. That's because he wants to see what your commitment to the run was. I think that's the thing we're going to see about Arthur Smith is that there is going to be a refocus on running the football now. And again, there'll be some successes, there'll be some misses and things like that because your offensive line's got to get figured out. Your running backs have to sort themselves out. I thought Kadri Allison showed himself well. Right? He was one of the guys that we talked about the other day. He had 5 carries for 33 yards. I thought he did some good things, and I'm hoping he makes the football team. I thought Felipe Franks did some good things as well. I think he's got a real shot to make the 53-man roster, right? And you're really kind of your third tight end at this point, but I think he's got a real shot to make the roster. Obviously, emergency quarterback, and I wonder how much, if at all, we'll see him in the preseason, but emergency quarterback, third tight end, I think he's done some good things. And watching him in camp and then watching him on Friday, I think he's earning his way onto the 53-man roster. So I was, pleasantly surprised. Defensively, look, they've got some things to work out as far as they got to find a way to get to the quarterback consistently, right? I thought Ebiketie did some things. Ogundeji only played like 7 snaps in the game, so didn't really get a chance to do a whole lot. But it was a little bit frustrating to watch that opening drive and watch from the standpoint of the Falcons defense get shredded, right? I mean, especially the run defense got shredded on that play. They got blocked out. Ebiketie got kind of taken out on that play. But by and large, there's a lot of good to take away from it. Now, their next preseason game is a week from tonight, right? They'll be up in New York to take on the Jets, and then quick turnaround. They'll play next Monday, and then Saturday will be the following Saturday will be the final preseason game in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. By the way, too, Mercedes-Benz, they got an open practice tonight. So if you want to head down to Mercedes-Benz, head to AtlantaFalcons.com, get your $5 ticket. Okay, you can go to open practice tonight. It starts at 6:30. I will be down there. I'm going to be broadcasting my radio show on the field. So if you've never been to Mercedes-Benz, you want to watch the Falcons open practice tonight, just a quick hit there, $5 at AtlantaFalcons.com. But I was excited. I was excited for the mentality. They wanted to win that football game. And we talked about winning. Say what you will, but when you're not a good football team, right, you have to take little blips and bleep. Look, if the Packers go 0-4 or 0-3, in the preseason, nobody's going to care because they got Aaron Rodgers and all those guys. They're going to be a 13-win team, right? If Tampa goes 0-4 and Brady doesn't play well, yeah, they'll blow it up because, oh my God, Brady's not playing well. But who cares? They're still one of the best teams in the NFC. This is not one of the better teams in the NFC. So I thought there was a lot of good to build on. I thought Tease Tabor played well. I thought that there were some good individual performances. I like the transition into our offensive mindset and philosophy. And I like the fact that they were aggressive and wanted to go and win that football game. All right, when we come back, we will get the beat writer for ESPN.com, Michael Rothstein's thoughts on what the Falcons look like and what his takeaways were. It's all next. It's Hittin' Hard with Jon Chuckery, Locked On Sports Atlanta.